Alan Ladd, a name associated with a cool, debonair appearance and resounding Hollywood success. But few know that behind that glamour, a private secret tormented him. It was a regret about a 1958 film, and the reason was unexpected. What happened on set between these seemingly perfect stars that caused Ladd such a psychological burden? Let's unveil the secret. The torment of an icon, Alan Ladd. Just hearing the name, one immediately pictures a perfect man on screen, cold blue eyes, flowing blonde hair, and a small but powerful physique. He was the embodiment of silent, brave heroes in detective cowboy or adventure films. From This Gun for Hire to Shane Ladd carved out an unshakable image as an icon of Hollywood's golden age. He wasn't just an actor. He was a box office draw, a valuable asset to any film studio. Yet few knew that behind that cool, unassailable exterior lay a sensitive, vulnerable soul. Alan Ladd was not a mindless entertainment machine. He carried within him profound, very human anxieties and struggles. And one of these, a lingering burden that plagued him until the end of his life, stemmed from a film that seemed destined to be a highlight of his career. The Proud Rebel, 1958. You're probably wondering how a Western with a touching father-son story could become a haunting obsession for Alan Ladd. Was it due to a terrible script or an unsuitable role? Not at all. The problem wasn't with the film's quality or Ladd's performance itself. Everything ironically revolved around a woman, a sophisticated, elegant, and incredibly talented star, Olivia de Havilland. She, a two-time Oscar winner, was a symbol of grace and strength. De Havilland and Ladd, two resounding names in cinema, seemed a perfect combination to create a masterpiece. Yet, it was her very presence that turned Alan Ladd's filmmaking experience into a silent nightmare, leaving him with lifelong regret. What truly happened on the set of The Proud Rebel? How complicated was the relationship between Alan Ladd and Olivia de Havilland? And why would an actor known for his professionalism like Ladd allow a personal relationship to so deeply affect him that he regretted a film project? This isn't just a story about a failed film. It's a whisper about Hollywood's behind-the-scenes secrets, where pressure and personal chemistry can shape the fates of even the biggest stars. We will turn each page together to uncover Alan Ladd's untold torment, exploring the profound reasons behind this fateful regret. Was this an uncompromising clash between two formidable egos, or a tragedy of incompatibility? Let's delve into the film's production context and re-examine Alan Ladd's standing at the time to better understand what truly transpired. The pressure weighing on actors. The late 1950s was a turbulent, pivotal period in Alan Ladd's career. The image of the silent, stoic hero that had propelled him to stardom in the 40s and early 50s began to show signs of becoming outdated. Audiences were no longer entirely captivated by one-dimensional roles. They yearned for deeper, more complex characters. Ladd, an actor always aware of his standing, keenly felt the pressure to innovate, to seek new acting challenges to maintain his A-list status. This was a time when Hollywood was gradually changing. Television began to invade living rooms, and film studios had to work harder to draw audiences to theaters. Classic stars like Ladd faced a choice: adapt or slowly fade into obscurity. He attempted various genres from action-adventure to drama, but success wasn't always guaranteed. The anxiety about his career, about maintaining his image, became an invisible burden weighing on Ladd. The Proud Rebel and high expectations. Against this backdrop, The Proud Rebel emerged as a ray of hope. This was a Western, a genre Ladd was very familiar with and had achieved resounding success in with Shane, 1953. The classic film that defined a generation of cowboy heroes. However, The Proud Rebel wasn't just a simple cowboy film. It carried an emotionally rich storyline, the tale of John Chandler, played by Ladd, a widowed father wandering the West to find a cure for his mute son. The combination of action and psychological depth promised to give Ladd an opportunity to showcase more diverse acting abilities, breaking free from the shadow of rigid hero roles. Expectations for the proud rebel were not small. Ladd was not only the lead actor, but also a producer through his company, Jaguar Productions. This meant he bore not only the responsibility of acting, but also had to manage the financial and overall quality of the film. The pressure thus doubled. This was a project he invested heavily in, hoping it could help him solidify his position and reaffirm his name during this transitional phase. The arrival of Olivia de Havilland. And then Olivia de Havilland appeared. Her agreement to join the proud rebel was shocking news in Hollywood. De Havilland was not just a talented actress. She was a legendary star, a two-time Oscar winner for Best Actress for To Each His Own, 1946, and The Heiress, 1949. She was known for her subtle portrayals, internal depth, and an extremely professional demeanor, sometimes even described as demanding and somewhat haughty. She embodied undeniable talent and an iron will. The pairing of Alan Ladd and Olivia de Havilland on screen was expected to create a major sensation. On one side was Ladd's mysterious, introspective presence. On the other, de Havilland's sophistication and strength. They were two Hollywood giants, each bringing a distinct style, promising to form a captivating on-screen duo that would elevate the film to another level. Audiences and critics alike eagerly anticipated the clash and fusion of these two talents. However, this seemingly perfect combination secretly harbored the seeds of a silent tragedy. Could these two completely different acting worlds reconcile? Or would the clash between two strong personalities lead to irreparable rifts, leaving one of them, particularly Alan Ladd, with everlasting regret? An ill-fated pairing. When Alan Ladd and Olivia de Havilland stepped onto the set of The Proud Rebel, they brought not only their talent and fame, but also completely contrasting working styles, along with accumulated personal expectations. This combination, seemingly destined to create a masterpiece, ultimately became a double-edged sword, cutting deep into Alan Ladd's soul. Let's start with Alan Ladd. Despite being a superstar, Ladd was known for his introversion and sometimes inherent lack of self-confidence. He often felt uncomfortable with scenes demanding strong emotions and needed a meticulous director and supportive co-star to fully unlock his potential. Ladd was not one for confrontation, and he always strove to maintain a harmonious atmosphere on set. He was also a family man, valuing stability and peace. The pressure of his producer role, coupled with the need to maintain the image of the perfect star, made him even more vulnerable to even the slightest friction. In contrast, Olivia de Havilland was a formidable genius. She was not only a talented actress, but also a resilient fighter, one who dared to challenge the autocratic studio system and won a landmark lawsuit changing Hollywood's rules forever. De Havilland was known for her seriousness, meticulous attention to detail, and almost absolute professionalism. She had very high expectations for herself and for those she worked with. If she felt her co-star or director was not meeting expectations, she would not hesitate to express her views, sometimes in direct and blunt ways that could make others feel overwhelmed or criticized. Some even described her as having a certain princess demeanor, not easily compromising. The differences in personality and acting methods between Ladd and de Havilland quickly became a deep chasm. Ladd, with his sensitivity and need for support, likely found it difficult to work with a demanding de Havilland. Her requests, though, stemming from professionalism, may have made Ladd feel underestimated, questioned in his abilities, or even put on the spot on set. Ladd was not adept at directly confronting criticism, and he likely chose to withdraw, letting the discomfort fester inside. Many behind-the-scenes sources, though not widely publicized at the time, leaked information about the simmering tensions between the two stars. There were no loud arguments or notable altercations, but the lack of connection, the mismatch in their approach to roles, and even in their daily interactions created a stifling atmosphere. De Havilland, with her powerful and at times cold demeanor, may have inadvertently or deliberately made Lad feel overshadowed. This was particularly concerning for Lad, a man always obsessed with his status and image. Imagine Lad, accustomed to being the center of attention, now faced a co-star who was not only equally talented, but also outwardly stronger and more demanding. That pressure, combined with Lad's self-imposed responsibility as a producer, transformed the set into a personal psychological battleground. Every scene, every dialogue seemed to carry an underlying challenge, not just in acting, but also in mental endurance. Was this a situation where the more talented, the harder to work together, or simply two individuals both great in their respective fields who were not meant to harmonize? Whatever the reason, it's clear that Olivia de Havilland's presence in The Proud Rebel did not bring the joy or artistic fulfillment Alan Ladd had hoped for. Instead, it sowed in him a seed of discomfort, a torment that would later become regret, an indelible scar in the career and life of a Hollywood icon. The regret. Because of her, Alan Ladd's silent torment. So what caused Alan Ladd, a man known for being taciturn and private about his personal emotions, to be tormented to the point of regretting a film simply because of his co-star? The answer lies in the complex interplay of personality, professional pressure, and the personal expectations he placed on the Proud Rebel. First and foremost was the lack of personal and professional connection between Ladd and de Havilland. Ladd, as mentioned, was an introvert who needed security and trust to express himself. He wasn't the type of actor who liked confrontation to find new nuances. Instead, he needed a collaborative atmosphere, a natural chemistry with his co-star to feel comfortable. With de Havilland, a strong, at times demanding and strict person, Ladd likely didn't find that connection. Their on-set relationship could be described as polite, but cold, lacking the warmth and understanding Ladd yearned for. This lack of connection not only affected Ladd's mood, but also directly impacted his performance, making him feel unable to realize his full potential. Second was the feeling of being overshadowed or overwhelmed. Although Alan Ladd was the lead star and producer of The Proud Rebel, Olivia de Havilland's presence was undeniable. With 2 Oscars under her belt and an extremely powerful demeanor, de Havilland was a giant on set. For a lad who was already sensitive about his height and physique, facing a co-star with such a strong aura, feeling overshadowed was entirely possible. Ladd always tried to maintain the image of a confident hero, but de Havilland may have inadvertently or deliberately challenged that confidence. Every look, every word from de Havilland, even if not ill-intentioned, could have been perceived by Ladd as a judgment, a reminder of the shortcomings he already felt insecure about. Third, while there are no documented records of public confrontations, underlying disagreements were almost inevitable. De Havilland was known for arguing if she felt the script dialogue or direction was off course. Ladd, in his producer role, also had his own say. Differences in artistic vision or approach to a scene could lead to simmering tensions which Ladd, instead of resolving directly, chose to keep to himself. These unspoken clashes likely wore down Ladd's patience, turning each workday into an internal struggle. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, was the deep psychological impact on Ladd's confidence. Alan Ladd faced many personal issues throughout his life, including struggles with self-esteem and anxiety. Negative experiences on set, especially when they came from a colleague he respected, could have amplified these existing fears and insecurities. Ladd's regret was not merely temporary discomfort. It was a psychological scar, a testament that even the greatest Hollywood stars are not immune to personal wounds. Perhaps what Ladd regretted most was not that the film wasn't successful. In fact, The Proud Rebel received fairly good feedback, but his personal experience during its making. He didn't find the joy, collaboration, or sense of satisfaction he desired. And because of her, because of the interactions or lack thereof with Olivia de Havilland, the film became a silent haunting, a thorn in his side that Ladd could never remove. This is not just a story about Hollywood, but also a reminder of the complexity of human relationships, even when they unfold under the glaring spotlight. The silent scar behind the spotlight. The story of Alan Ladd and the Proud Rebel isn't just a simple Hollywood anecdote. It's a deep look into the invisible pressures and personal hurts that even the biggest stars face. Ladd's regret about this film didn't come from box office failure or script quality, but from his human experience working with Olivia de Havilland. Differences in personality, working methods, and perhaps even personal expectations created an unseen barrier, turning a promising project into a deep emotional scar for Ladd. Even though Olivia de Havilland remains an undeniable talent, and Ladd maintained his status, this on-screen pairing left a lasting mark on Alan Ladd's mind. It reminds us that behind the dazzling stage lights and radiant smiles are real people with genuine emotions, fears, and even regrets. What do you think about this story? Can professional pressure make personal relationships so complicated? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to follow us so you don't miss out on other fascinating behind-the-scenes stories from the world of cinema.